guys, welcome to our first video for week 5. Can you believe it's already been 5 weeks of our online learning? That's crazy. We're gonna jump back into a little review with fractions because we're gonna be getting into a lot more equations that have decimals and fractions in them. So I wanna make sure that we are all super comfortable with fractions. So today we're gonna add and subtract. On Thursday, we're going to multiply and divide, okay? So adding and subtracting fractions. Basically, the one thing you need to remember for adding and subtracting fractions is that you have to have like denominators, okay? Or you have to find common denominators. So this first problem, I have 2/3 plus 3/4. I cannot add or subtract those because they do not have the same denominator. They have 3 and 4. So how do we find the denominator? Well, if you have a multiplication chart, that's going to be helpful. Okay, if you don't, you can find one online. Just Google multiplication chart or let me know and I'll send you one if you need me to. Remember that the bold numbers on the outside are the factors, and the numbers in the middle that the numbers multiplied together to create are the multiples, okay? So when we're trying to find a common denominator, we want to find the least common multiple, okay? So the multiples of 3 would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and so on, okay? Basically count by is our multiples. Multiples of 4 are going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and so on, okay? So what we would do is either you can look at your multiplication chart, since 3 and 4 happen to be next to each other, and you can follow it down, and you can find multiples they have the same, because you want the least common one. So one that they have in common that's smaller than all the rest. So in this case of 3 and 4, it's going to be 12, okay? So 12 is going to be my new denominator. Okay, so I have these already set up so that you have your given fractions and then you have the spot to put your new fractions after you make them equivalent but with the same denominator, and then you write your answer over there, okay? So if I jumped from 3 to 12, I would have had to multiply that 3 by 4, okay? So if I multiplied the bottom of the fraction by 4, that means I have to also multiply the top by 4. So 2 times 4 is going to go up here, and that's 8. And then when I jumped from 4 to 12, I had to multiply by 3, because 4 times 3 is 12. And whatever I do to the bottom, I have to also do to the top. So 3 times 3 is 9. That goes up there. Okay, so now I have 8 twelfths plus 9 twelfths. I can add those because they have like denominators. 8 and 12 is 17. 17 twelfths. For the purposes of this assignment, I'm not going to make you simplify unless you are super comfy with it and you can do it. So if you can simplify, so I'm using the honor system here, if you can simplify and you feel comfortable doing it or you want to try, please do. If it's going to wig you out and you're not going to, if it's going to be stressful trying to simplify, then don't worry about it, okay? So you can leave it as 17 twelfths. You can change it to a mixed number from the improper fraction that it is. I'll accept both, okay? So here, this next one, we're gonna be subtracting fractions. Exactly the same concept, except you're subtracting once you have your new denominator instead of adding. So again, we need to find the least common multiple between 5 and 10, okay? So instead of using my multiplication chart, I'm just gonna list the multiples here for those of you who maybe would do it this way, okay? So the multiples of 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, so in this case, one of our denominators can actually stay because 10 is a multiple of 5. So that means that 10 would have to be the least common multiple between 5 and 10. Okay, so you can see 10 here and 10 here. So that's my least common multiple. So 3/10 is just going to stay 3/10. Okay, the 1/5 is going to have a new denominator of 10. And how did I get from 5 to 10? Well, I multiplied by 2, right? So whatever I do to the bottom, I have to also do to the top. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have 3/10 minus 2/10. Okay, so that gives me 1/10. That's all, okay? So finding your least common multiple, I should write that on your paper somewhere. LCM is going to be your key to success here, okay? Here is your assignment. Grab a piece of paper and a pencil, pause it there. Try to get all those written down. Okay. Remember that you complete those problems and then you either send me a picture via email or you can show me in Zoom chat on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. or at noon. Let me know if you have questions or if you need anything. Let me know if you need a multiplication chart. Okay, thanks guys.